So first, I'd like to say good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. Today, we're going to go over the eagerly awaited third generation portal, and I'll cover everything you need to know about Gen 3, including the biggest changes from the previous portal, additional features, and an updated design. Our aim here is to provide you with all of the support you need to make the most out of this new platform. Before we actually get into the platform, I want to go over the major topics that we'll be hitting on today. First, we're going to start with the general navigation tools and administrative functions available. Once completed, we'll then move on to the creative and audience libraries, as well as how you will upload those creatives and audiences. And then we will put those together to create our first campaign and order line. Once we've created those order lines, we will then go back to our campaign dashboard and review the reporting options that are available, as well as the reporting options available outside of the platform via our support team. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and jump right into the platform here. When you first log in to the Generation 3 portal, you will first be brought to the campaign dashboard as we see it here. Now, yours may look a little bit different as you will not have this table quite yet. This is where your order lines are going to be. And when you first log in, there won't be any order lines in there, but as you create them, this table will start to fill out. At the top here, you'll also have a breakdown of your organization's order lines, creatives, and audiences. But before we dig too deeply into the campaign dashboard, let's go ahead and look at our navigation tools. If we click here at the top, this will be our account badge, and here we will have a menu with several different options. The My Profile option will allow you to view your profile and change pieces of information such as your name or your email address if you need to do so. Moving down, we have the option to change between light and dark mode. Currently, we're in light mode, but if we just go ahead and click that, it will give us a version of the portal that I would say is a bit easier on the eyes, but we'll go ahead and continue in light mode for visibility here. Finally, down at the bottom, we will have our logout button. If you have multiple portal accounts and you need to log out of your current one, simply use this button and that will take you back to the login screen. Next on the right, we have our notification bell. Clicking on the notification bell will bring out another drop-down menu, and any notifications that you've received will appear here. Notifications originally appear along the top as a banner and can be dismissed. So if you dismiss a notification and need to view it again, you'll simply click on this bell and it will appear there. Moving forward, we have our Need Help button. Clicking on this button provides us with three options. Let's start with the knowledge base at the bottom. If we click on that, a new tab will open. And if we navigate here and click on El Poro Portal, you will find a variety of different articles that our team has drafted, covering just about every topic imaginable regarding this platform. So for example, if we need to find information on creative specifications or requirements, we can come here to the search bar, look for creatives, and then we can find the recommendations and requirements for political creatives under this document. As I said before, these documents and articles will cover just about every topic imaginable. So if you are in need of some assistance, you can start there, or if you're unable to find what you're looking for, simply come back to this Need Help button and use the Submit Request button. This will bring up a support request window in which you can type a brief description of your request or question and then upload any relevant files. When you submit that request, that will be sent directly to our customer experience team, and we do operate between the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Any requests received within this time frame are typically answered within about 1 hour. The only other item I want to address on this screen would be the fact that the file upload button here does not support the upload of CSV or Microsoft Excel files. El Toro is committed to protecting the privacy and security of our clients' data, and it is for this reason that the CSV and Microsoft Excel files are not supported by the in-portal support request window. If your support request does require the provision of a Microsoft Excel or CSV file, please email that to us directly at support@eltoro.com. The final section on the top right here will be the empty cart. Here is where any order lines that you have ready will be displayed, but currently it is empty, and we will come back to this later once we've set up some order lines. Next, I'd like to turn your attention towards our global search bar here. This is fairly simple. You can search for any assets listed under your El Toro org here. So for example, if we wanted to find any asset with the name test in its name, simply type in test and hit enter, and all audiences, creatives, order lines, and orgs listed under your account will be displayed here in the search results. You can refine this further either by removing the checkboxes from asset types you do not want to see, or by using this drop-down menu to select which asset type you would like to see. So for example, if we click on creatives, we will now see only creatives with the word test in their name, of which we can see there is only one. With those general navigation tools covered, I'd like to move on to the administrative functions. To access these functions, simply come over here to the left-hand side and click on your org badge. Clicking on this will provide another drop-down menu, and we can see our administrative function pages here. Let's start with org settings. And under org settings, we can see a brief summary of our org. And beneath that, we can see all of the users currently assigned in our org. From here, you can add users and remove users at your own discretion. And on the right-hand side here, we have your operations and sales contacts. This information is for you to fill out. If we at El Toro need to contact somebody at your organization, this section of the portal is where we will go in order to find out who we need to contact. Scrolling down beneath the org users chart, we have the pricing chart. This shows a breakdown of every product and creative combination and the CPM prices that those combinations will be billed at. Please keep in mind that these CPMs listed are for demonstration purposes only, and your CPMs may differ. If your organization runs political traffic, you can see your political pricing by clicking on this button here. This will drop down another chart showing those different political CPMs, and if you need to hide this, you can simply uncheck that box again. Moving down beneath the pricing information, we can find our org hierarchy. This is where your current org will be displayed, as well as any child orgs that exist beneath it. And if we want to manage our child orgs, we can either navigate to that page by clicking the Manage Child Orgs button here, or by returning to our org badge and clicking on Child Orgs. On this page, you will see all of the child orgs that exist underneath your current parent organization. And if you need to add a new child org, simply click on this button in the top right, assign the child org a name, and then scroll down to the contact information. By default, this will always be the exact same as the parent org. However, if you need to enter that manually, simply uncheck the box and enter the information here. Once completed, you can hit this next button to move on to the child org's pricing information. This can be set as the same as the parent org, a flat percentage increase, which itself can be edited, Or finally, you will be able to set those CPMs manually. And I apologize because I had refreshed the page, but seen here, you can set those CPMs manually at your own discretion. The final administrative function to cover today will be the billing page. So if we click on billing there, we will very quickly get our billing summary here at the top. If we have any invoices, they will appear in a table view down below. In this case, there are no invoices, but you'll be able to see things such as invoice number, date, status, whether that's paid or pending. And you'll also have the ability to download a copy of that invoice if you so desire. On the right-hand side here, we have our billing details. And down below that will be the credit card information. You can add, remove, and edit credit cards, again, at your own discretion. Now that does cover the administrative functions and general navigation tools. So we're going to go ahead and move on to looking at the audience creation and audience library. To create a new audience, just come down here to the audiences section and click on create. This audience creation screen has a new layout, so I want to briefly go over how this is all organized. Each audience type will have a tag, and there are 4 tags: address, location, behavioral, and geographic. Each of those tags falls under one of 2 categories. The first category will be those El Toro products which use your own data or CRM lists to help allow you to upload an audience directly to the portal. Audience types that belong to this category fall under the address or location tags. The second category are those which use El Toro's own data to allow you to generate an audience within the portal. Audiences that fall under this category belong to the behavioral and geographic tags. Let's start by looking at the address tag audiences by clicking on IP targeting. IP targeting, essentially being the fundamental technology here at El Toro, allows you to upload an address list and then match those physical addresses to an IP address. For IP targeting and most, if not all, address tag audiences, you will be looking at a simple drag and drop upload. For the case of IP targeting, simply select whether that is a B2C or B2B list, and then upload your CSV file containing address 1 and zip directly into this box by dropping it in. IP address lists function identically, except you will be uploading the actual IP addresses that you would like to target. And then finally, device lists will be much the same, only you'll be uploading the mobile advertising IDs that you would like to target. Moving back, we'll look at digital canvassing and the location tag audiences. Just like the address tags, these are both going to be simple drag and drop uploads. For the case of digital canvassing, it is once again address 1 and zip code in CSV format. And then our system will use that digital canvassing technology to locate the neighbors of the locations which were uploaded and match their IP addresses within about a 500-meter radius. Zip code lists, on the other hand, will also be a simple drag and drop upload, but will then find all of the publicly facing IP addresses in the zip codes that are listed. Moving on to the second category, which use El Toro's own data. We'll start with the geographic tag and the map polygon tool. The map polygon audience is the only audience type with the geographic tag. And if you're familiar with map polygon in the previous version of the portal, you will be familiar with this as well. You'll simply locate the location you would like to geoframe. In this case, we'll use the Galt House Hotel here in Louisville. Now that we've located the location, we can go ahead and zoom in and begin drawing our polygon around it. Once we've completed this, our system will identify all of the publicly facing IP addresses within the geoframed location, and then you will be able to serve impressions to any device connected to those IP addresses in real time. You can see here that I did make a small error when drawing this polygon. I've left this corner of the building out, and that could very well be where their servers are or where their Wi-Fi is routed through. So we want to make sure we get that whole building by clicking on this Edit Layers button and dragging that in. If we need to delete this polygon for any reason, there is this Remove Layers button that looks like an eraser. And if we need to rotate this, we can click on the Finish button here and simply drag this like so. Once done, we'll go ahead and name our audience, and we can also leave any notes that we would like to for our own organizational purposes. We'll move next to the behavioral audiences, and we're going to start with venue replay, as it is very similar to map polygon. You'll see that this looks almost identical, and we want to go back to that same location of the Galt House Hotel. And rather than targeting in real time, venue replay allows us to locate devices inside the geoframe location and map those back to a home. So essentially, we'll go ahead and draw that polygon once more. And once we have the polygon drawn, we can also set our time frame. So for instance, if we knew there was a conference that ran from the 1st of April through the 5th of April, we would set that time frame here, and then we would be able to identify any device located inside of the geoframe location during that time frame, and then map them back to a home location. Just like Map Polygon, you have the ability to name this audience and leave any necessary notes. Next will be digital new movers. But if we type in 402***, because we know that all of the zip codes in the Louisville metro area begin with 402, we'll go ahead and hit enter, and that will give us all zip codes that start with 402. We'll then see our new mover data down here, or rather our new mover counts, and we can select which one we would like to create as an audience, name it, and then save it to our library. If you would like to select more than one of these, you may feel free to select as many at a time as you would like, and each one selected will create its own audience once saved. The final targeting type here will be retargeting, and retargeting pixels can now be generated in the audience library without the need to set up an order line first. Simply type in the name of your audience, hit this generate button, and a retargeting pixel will be generated on this screen for you, and then will be added to your audience library. Now that we've covered all of the different audience types, let's go ahead and look at the audience library here. Just like the campaign dashboard, we've got a nice table view down here showing all of our individual audiences. And if we click on one of these, in this case, let's look at this digital canvassing audience, we'll see a brief preview on the right-hand side. If we want to rename that audience, we can do so using this pencil button. And then down below, we can see our ID, type, status, and number of matched targets. If we had made any notes, those could be viewed here, or we can add them at this point. We can also see how many order lines the audience is currently being used on. And if this were being used on any order lines, we could simply click that 0 right there, which would be a 1, 2 maybe, and see which order lines that audience is currently attached to. Scrolling down here, I want to point out this folder options feature. You may have noticed these folders at the top of the screen, and audiences can now be organized into folders to help you keep all of your audiences in line. So for example, if we want to add this audience to this Q1 2024 folder, we'll simply click on this button and click on the folder we'd like to add it to. If we wanted to make a new folder, simply do that here. The final feature I want to point out on the audience library here will be this remove button. You do now have the ability to remove audiences from your audience library. However, this can only be done if that audience has never been attached to an order line. So if you do upload a file in error, you can now remove that. Just ensure that it has not been run on an order line. With audiences covered, let's briefly take a look at our creative library. This is going to look much the same as the audience library. However, before we get into the library itself, I want to check out this upload and create button at the top. Clicking this button will drop down a list of all of the supported creative types. And most of these are going to be simple drag and drop uploads. We'll take a look at the banner creative, for example. You get this nice drag and drop box here with the ability to see our supported file types, recommended sizes, as well as some other file type specific information. One other feature I would like to point out here is the ability to add ad tags and vast tags directly in the portal. So we'll use the add tag function as an example here. If you do use add or vast tags, you can simply come to this upload page, drop the add tag itself in here with a simple copy and paste. For add tags specifically, you'll select the creative dimensions, assign it a name, and then save, and that will be added to your library and then can be attached to an order line. The other feature I would like to point out will be our creative generator. This is now available within the application, and it enables you to easily design banner creatives in all 5 of our recommended sizes. However, while this feature is accessible and available, it is still being refined. Please feel free to take a look and use this at your own discretion. However, we will not be offering support for this feature until it has been fully developed. Moving down into the creative library, if we click on one of our creatives, this will bring up a preview ribbon similar to the audience preview, where we can rename the creative, see all of these different details regarding it, as well as a preview. And down here, we can see that used in order lines. So this has been used on 6 order lines. If we go ahead and click on that, we can see the names and ID numbers of all of those order lines. The folder options are exactly the same as the the audience library. However, creative folders and audience folders are separate. And finally, we do have the ability to remove creatives from the library as well. The same restrictions do apply though, as the creative cannot have run on an active order line in order for you to be able to remove it. Now that we have finished talking about creatives and audiences, we want to go ahead and create our first campaign and order line. To do so, we'll come over here under Campaigns and click on Create. When you click that button, you'll be brought to the campaign creation screen where you can name your campaign and then decide whether this is going to be political or non-political. If you toggle the political option on, a brief disclaimer will be displayed here. However, we want to continue as a non-political campaign for the purposes of this demonstration. We'll go ahead and hit Continue, and then we will be brought to the Audience tab. On the audience tab, you can either upload or select existing audiences to be attached to your campaign. We'll use IP targeting as an example here. So we do have that same upload box from earlier, but let's say we want to select an existing audience. We'll click Select from Audience Library, scroll down until we find the appropriate audience. We'll go ahead and use this one that has about 11.5 thousand matches. One moment. Okay, we'll go ahead and use this one right here. So we'll just go ahead and select that. And now we can see we can add the selected audiences. We'll get a brief notification up here at the top and a green check mark here at the top of the tab, notifying us that, hey, we do have an audience attached and you are ready to move forward. We'll go ahead and move forward by clicking this next button, and we will be landing on the Creatives tab. Just like the Audience tab, we can either upload or select existing creatives to be attached to the order line. So we'll click on Banner there, and then we will select one from our creative library. We will scroll down until we find the appropriate creatives, and we'll just go ahead and use these two at the top. And now that we have creatives attached, we can see a brief preview of those here, as well as our banner checklist on the right. This banner checklist will show a gold star next to each of our 5 recommended banner sizes, and it will show a green check mark next to any banner size that is currently attached. So we'll go ahead and move forward with just these 2 creatives attached. And once you're satisfied with your creative set, come down here to your click-through URL and type in your relevant landing page. We'll just use eltoro.com. If you want to add a UTM, you do have the ability to generate one using this drop-down menu here. And once we're complete, we'll go ahead and add to cart and make another. Now, it does appear we received an error here, but if I close that out and go to the top here, we've got that green check mark. That green check mark, we know that means, hey, we're good to go. We can move forward. So we'll just ignore that error and hit this next button. Now we're going to be on the Review tab. On the Review tab, you will see all of the order lines that have been created under this campaign. In this case, we have only created one order line so far, but let's say we want to make some changes before we submit this order line. We'll simply select the order line we would like to edit, and then our order line editor will appear at the top. I'm going to go through each of these different options briefly, starting with creatives. If we open up the creatives editor, we'll also have the ability to add existing or upload new creatives. If we need to remove creatives that are currently attached, simply click on the one you would like to remove and then click this remove button. Finally, you'll have the ability to edit your click-through URL and or brand URL from this screen. The audience editor will look much the same. We have the ability to add from the library here or upload new audiences here. And we can also remove audiences from the order line here. Next, we have the ability to edit the budget in one of 3 different ways. We can either click the budget button here to change by dollar amount. So let's say we want to spend $2,500 on this instead of $2,000. We'll enter that in and hit update. And then we can see here that our budget updates from 2,000 to 2,500, and our impressions have increased from 50,000 to 62,500. If we want to edit this instead by impression total, simply click on impressions, and we can set this back to 50,000. You also have the ability to edit your impression total using frequency, which is calculated as the number of impressions per target per day. But for now, we're going to go ahead and move ahead with that 50,000 number. We'll hit update, and both our impression total and dollar amount have updated accordingly. When you first create a campaign, the flight duration will always default to about 1 month. To edit this, simply click on flight dates. You can select this option if your flight is only a single day, or for longer flights, you can update those here. So let's say we want this to run through the 9th of May. We'll hit update. And now this is set for a 14-day flight duration. The next item here would be editing your order line's name. These are generated automatically, but if you want something a little more distinct to help you keep things organized, click on this pencil and we can just go ahead and type in the name that we desire. Hit that save button and it will update shortly. Now, before I get into any of these other options up here, I want to first go ahead and add a blank order line. So clicking on this button will add a completely new order line, and from here we can use all of those same options to build this out. And if you don't want to start from scratch, you can select an existing order line, hit this duplicate button, and then you'll be able to edit that new order line a little bit quicker, so long as your audiences or creatives are somewhat similar. Now, when we see these two sections here, I like to kind of explain the difference between the top here and the bottom. These two order lines in the top section are considered to be in your cart. We can see that both of these have a budget of $2,000. And if we were to submit right now, we would be submitting a total of $4,000. We can also click on our cart here and we can see all of this information in our cart as well. If we want to move order lines between being in our cart and just being in draft status down here, simply click on the order line you'd like to remove and click this remove button. It will move down to the bottom and will be removed from the cart. Likewise, if you need to add it back in, click on that order line, hit the add button, and it will be put into your cart. The final step before we submit these will be the fact that you can now delete order lines that have not already been submitted. So let's say we didn't mean to duplicate this order line. We'll go ahead and check that, hit this delete button, and it will be removed. We'll go ahead and do that for this blank one down here as well. And then once we are fully happy with our setup here and ready to submit, we'll simply click on this button to agree to the Altera terms of service. And if this were not a demo account, we would then have the ability to submit this order line and actually go ahead and spend money on this. Once submitted, you can come back, once submitted, you will receive a confirmation screen notifying you that it was submitted. And if you come back to your campaign dashboard here, you'll see that order line right at the top because it's going to be the most recent one you created. And rather than saying draft status, you will see here an in review status. That will then be reviewed by our team and then approved or rejected. If it is rejected, as you can see this test order line was, you'll see this view order line notes button here letting you know why it was rejected, and then you'll have the opportunity to edit that. But if it is approved, it will then be deployed and will begin serving impressions. Once an order line has begun serving impressions, you'll then be able to view your performance report directly in the portal. So if we go ahead and click on an order line here to expand, we'll then get the order line details screen. Now, in this case, this order line hasn't served any impressions, so we'll go over to another order line that I have pulled up here that did serve impressions. and expand those order line details. We can then see here the budget, days remaining, impressions served, and the audience total. Down at the bottom, you'll have a breakout of impressions, clicks, CTR, and then that will either be lifetime, last 7 days, last 3 days, so on and so forth. If this information in the bottom left-hand corner does not cover everything you need to see, you can click on this performance report button at the top, and that will bring up a small PDF view of reporting, where you can see your clicks, impressions, CTR, as well as pie charts showing your total budget spent versus the remaining, as well as the same for impressions. Down here, you'll be able to see your creatives and creative level statistics. So if we had more than one creative here, we would have all of those creatives listed here, and you would be able to click in to each of those creatives and see their statistics, such as clicks, impressions, and CTR. Finally, at the bottom, you will have a day-by-day breakdown of clicks, impressions, and CTR, and you can choose which statistic to highlight using this drop-down menu. If you'd like to download this page as a PDF, simply click on the PDF button at the top, and that will download directly to your device. And if you'd like something a little more customizable, you can use this download CSV button to create a customized CSV report. So say, for example, we don't care what organization this is running out of because we only have one org and we don't have child orgs. And we're really interested in seeing what creative type was used on this order line in this report. We'll just remove the checkbox for organization and creative and put that one on for creative type, and then hit the download button. And again, that will download directly to your device. If these in-portal reporting options do not cover all of your needs, we also do provide reports through our support team. Viewing this report menu, which is also listed in our knowledge base and will be provided to you in the resources sent after the webinar, we can see all of the report types that are available from our support team. And the two that I would like to highlight will be the overview report and the matchback analysis. The overview report combines multiple different report types into one so that you can get a good view of how your campaign or order line is performing all in one place. The matchback analysis, on the other hand, is a more advanced reporting option. This is provided free of charge by Altoro, and it allows us to compare the physical addresses which were served impressions to your own sales data. So if you're able to provide us with that sales data, we can prepare this report, which will enable the easy calculation of ROAS and other metrics, as well as directly attributing those conversions to your digital advertising initiative. For more information regarding the matchback analysis, you can find this page, again, within our knowledge base, and this contains various pieces of information about the matchback analysis and how it is created. If you have any further questions, you can always feel free to reach out to us through the support desk or to your sales executive. We would be happy to answer your questions. As far as requesting any of these reports, you can do so either by submitting a support request here from the Need Help button, or what I personally would recommend is going to the order line that you want to request the report for and using this support request button. Whenever you have a request that pertains to a particular order line, it is always best to use this button. It does appear the same and will request the same information from you. The only difference here is that when we receive the request, we will also be provided with a link to the order line from which the support request was submitted, allowing us to more efficiently solve your request or answer your question. I just again want to thank you all for coming today. I hope that you all get exactly what you're looking for out of our new Gen 3 portal, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.